Hello, my name is Xenia, and I was just wondering if you knew that raising a child is not an easy task. Even for parents of children that are not on the spectrum, there is no such thing as a normal child. They're all unique with their own traits. I speak from experience as the eldest child having to help take care of my younger siblings. Parents are responsible for providing their child with the necessary love, care, and support in order for them to grow, mature, and live a healthy life, physically and mentally. Thus, when their child is suffering, the parents would stress themselves out with worry for their child's well being, such as the unfortunate cases of those who are diagnosed with a disorder. Though take note that it does not make them any less of a person, just to make things clear. In our presentation, we will be focusing on autistic children because more often than not, when we care for someone deeply, we tend to neglect ourselves in the process. And that isn't not going to help anyone, is it? I heard that the best way to reduce stress is to accept the things that you cannot control. And we will be revealing how we can help parents handle their stress better with a positive psychology intervention later on. Without further ado, Lashika, what exactly is ASD?
Autism spectrum disorder, ASD, commonly known as autism, is basically the specific set of behavioral and developmental challenges the affected go through. Each individual affected by autism is different, which causes distinct changes in behavior. These differences in behavior are significant in children since they have very little control over their emotions and are unable to express what they feel. Limited research has been carried out in non-Western countries. Likewise, in Malaysia, a developing country, there are very little resources to raise awareness among the general public. In fact, in a research carried out by the Ministry of Health in 2006, 1.6 in every 1,000 children are said to be affected by ASD. This gap in awareness is essentially why it is important for further research to be carried out about ASD in Malaysia. Generally, once children are diagnosed with this disorder, parents are said to experience various emotions. Initially, parents feel guilt and intense anger that their own children have to go through this. After past research, it has been found that parents feel elevated levels of stress about how they would be able to manage everything. Mothers, being the primary caregivers of the family, feel higher levels of stress and tend to ignore their own health and well being, which could therefore result in higher risks of depression. The stress in parents could have also caused by increased workload, having less time for relationships with family and friends, reduced opportunities for their children, and most of all, financial difficulties to support their children for treatments and so on. Therefore, it is important that necessary interventions are put in place for the parents who are directly affected by this situation. Nikmat et al. Stated that parents who receive social support are seen to be more positive and therefore have lower levels of stress. And this also results in parents interacting more positively with their children. Mindfulness based stress reduction is one of the most effective interventions put in place to reduce stress, about which Madhurita will talk about next.
Thank you, Lakshika. So, what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a type of meditation practice that typically refers to a state of being in the moment while non judgmentally acknowledging one's thoughts and emotions. There is increasing literature to suggest that mindfulness is a useful intervention to address a variety of psychological problems, and that mindfulness based stress reduction, MBSR, is a particularly helpful intervention for stress. Study 1 and 2 used MBSR to reduce stress and anxiety in parents and teachers. These two studies that were previously conducted successfully helped their participants to cope with the stress they were dealing with by using MBSR as their intervention. Results of the studies showed a significant improvement in their participants' levels of stress and anxiety. But one significant weakness in these studies are the increased rates of attrition. The mindfulness programs were held face-to-face for the participants. Thus, due to various circumstances, the attrition rate was high. This mindfulness program will be delivered online through a website that is accessible at any time that is preferred by the participant. As the participants of the study are busy parents who live in urban areas, this method ensures that the dropout level will be kept low. Another study was conducted in 2016 that used a web-based mindfulness program to reduce stress in individuals. This study shows results that stress was successfully reduced in the individuals that participated. The strength identified in this study was that the web-based program allows for flexibility in the training pace. Thus, using a web-based program for the parents would be the most ideal, as they may have different schedules and commitments. This online platform is expected to encourage the parents to take up this program at their own pace and when they are comfortable. Thus, it will ensure that the dropout level is minimized. Now, I will pass it on to Alicia.
Alright, so by putting together what Lakshika and Madhurita have just presented, our solution is an online 4-week mindfulness-based intervention, or MBI, delivered through our website called The Climb. The name was inspired by a 2016 ethnographic study by Elias et al., where they use a metaphor of climbing Mount Kinabalu, which is the highest mountain in Malaysia, as they interpret the struggles of mothers when facing their children with ASD by resiliently persevering. We from The Climb wish to help mothers and also fathers alike to climb faster with ease as they strive to reach the top of the mountain. However, is it possible for parents to climb faster in just 4 weeks? Two researchers named Ahmad Rayyan and Muayyad Ahmad conducted a few studies in 2016 where they focused on the effectiveness of MBI on alleviating stress for parents of children with ASD. Their results showed that a shorter duration from an 8-week MBI program done by Ferreoli and Harris in 2013 to 5 weeks resulted in a lower attrition or dropout rate of 13.4% compared to 30% in the former study, with an increased participation rate from 26.9% to 64.2%. The reason why Ryan and Ahmad reduced the duration of the program is in response to another limitation of Ferreoli and Harris' study and their dissertation by Epstein, where an 8-week MBI proved too demanding for parents, which calls for a brief and less demanding version of MBI. Why shorten to 4 weeks instead of 5 weeks like in Ryan and Ahmad's study? This is because of the change of method of delivery to being fully online. This would shorten the duration of our program as shown in the Versa and Liedberg study previously mentioned by my partner Madhurita, where they shortened the MBI from 8 weeks to 2 weeks. Another study by Krush, Silorova, and Williams in 2013 also showed that moving the MBI online shortens the duration of the program to just 4 weeks. Here we present to you our user interface. On the left-hand side is our welcome page, and by clicking the button you see there, it will direct you to the web page in the middle of the slide, which is a week-by-week program page. And on the right is our page to indicate that the participants have ended their course, followed by a button to direct them to the post-survey. Let's now draw our focus to the web page in the middle. Don't you see something rather familiar about it? Well, that is because we wish to collaborate with Google Calendar to use their features. This is for parents to keep track of and ease in their journey with the climb. The first feature you see here is a schedule feature where parents can schedule the time and day of choice to perform the activities in our program as long as it is completed within that week. Next is the reminder feature that is important to remind parents of the next session. The Start feature is a button where if the participants click, it would direct them to the session's materials, where most of them require a collaboration with yet another Google product, and that is YouTube. YouTube is the main reason why a 4-week MBI would be achievable. Our sessions will be uploaded on YouTube and parents don't have to go through the trouble of downloading audio or use a CD. It is easier for parents to access the session's content since all they need is to click the play button and they can use any device that they have at hand. The play and pause feature also helps parents to easily rewind if they don't understand certain parts. For example, in this slide, it displays a video on what is autism. If parents miss out some details of autism, they can easily rewind and understand that part better. Moving on to our methods, we are expecting 200 or more parents to join our program in accordance with Krush, Silarova, and Williams' study, where they had 273 participants in their 4-week web-based mindfulness program. We will use convenience sampling similar to Ryan and Ahmad's study, where parents will be recruited from 10 of their children's autism centers. They will be recruited through advertising, as we plan to liaise with the 10 centers to help advertise our program by posting our posters around the centers. Now I will pass this presentation to Leanne.
Thank you, Alicia. Now I would like to talk about the timeline breakdown for the climb. Before the 4 weeks program take place, QR codes for the Google form are placed on the bulletin board around the Autism Center. Participants who are interested in participating in experiment can scan the QR code and fill in the Google form. Those who meet the criteria will be given a Google account and password to access the website. In the first week, a psychoeducation session will be given to parents to educate them about the stresses involved when they interact with their children. According to Ryan and Ahmad, this therapeutic program focuses more on the didactic communication of the information, and this provide the proper coping skill to patients and families. We will also give an introduction session on the 5 mindfulness skills, which are mindful wake up, mindful eating, mindful pause, mindful workout, and mindful driving. In this positive psychology intervention, we will focus on mindful wake up, mindful eating, mindful pause, and mindful workout. We will be doing a follow-up session via Telegram to obtain the feedback of the participant on weekly basis. For the week 1 home task assignment, we will focus on mindful wake up, where participants will first participate in mindful breathing of 10 to 20 minutes with the YouTube video clip. Then, participants will be asked to keep calm and write down their intention for the day. After writing down, participants will revisit their intention list to keep track of their action. In the second week, we will be focusing on mindful workout, which revolve around yoga. Kiko Glaser et al. Has supported that yoga and related practices aid in reducing stress responses. Invigilators will first conduct a Telegram follow-up session with the participant to understand and keep track of them. And then, participants will start with mindful breathing and then engage themselves with the yoga session. The yoga session will be provided live and afterward remain in the video section so that participants who miss it can revisit the session online. Mindful workout allows participants to master a skill where they are able to move and breathe in a way that not only get their blood pumping and invigorate every cell in the body, but also shift the mind from feeling busy and distracted to feeling strong and capable. In the third week, we will organize a one-day retreat where parents who successfully completed the first and second week activity will be invited. The one-day retreat will be a parent-children day where it will be held in the Autism Center field. This one-day retreat will improve the relationship between parents and children, allowing them to bond more. These activities also allow parents to get together to have a friendly chat and share their opinion on how to distress. Friends are important, especially when they come from similar background, because this allows them to be closer and understand each other better. At the end of the week, there will be a home task assignment on mindful eating, whereby participants are asked to practice peaceful eating and eat according to their hunger. In the fourth week, a repeat process of Telegram follow-up session and mindfulness breathing will be conducted, and for the home task assignment, we will be focusing on mindful pause and implement the mindful drawing. There are 2 ways to do that. First, slowing down the fast brain by putting obstacle in its way, and second, removing obstacle in the path of the slow brain so that it can gain control. Not only that, participants can try to download any color picture on the internet and color them as they like. Mindful drawing will allow participants to calm down and appreciate color of the surrounding, thus allowing their mind to relax from normal busy working lifestyle. Next, I will pass the presentation to Charlotte.
Thank you, Leanne. The next section I'll be talking is about measuring the website's effectiveness in our intervention. In order to carry out our intervention successfully,
There are a few criteria that our target population should have. Firstly, our participants should be parents who have at least one child who is affected by autism spectrum disorder. Secondly, our participants should be living in Malaysia, as we are mainly targeting parents in Malaysia. Thirdly, participants should have a home or a safe place to stay, because our interventions includes a take-home task where parents were required to complete their assignments at home together with their child. And finally, participants should have access to the internet and technological device, as our intervention is carried out through a web-based program. In this slide, I'm going to talk about the method of intervention delivery and is it suitable and feasible. So, we have summed up three main methods, which are: first, the participants will do the pre-survey and post-survey both through the online in Google form. Secondly, participants will join Telegram through their devices for follow-up sessions after each week of the program. And thirdly, the take-home task. We can see how feasible and convenient our delivery method with just access to the internet, and tasks could be performed anywhere, anytime, at their own comfortable space. Here are two QR codes which links directly to the template of surveys in Google Form, and parents could do it as easy as just by hovering their phone through to do the survey. So, how will we analyze the data obtained and utilize the evaluation data to implement improvement in the intervention's effectiveness? Firstly, we use ANCOVA as a statistical analysis to analyze the data, as it is effective and reliable to measure participants' score. Secondly, we will also compare our data collected in the pre- and post-survey to detect any changes in scores. Thirdly, we will collect qualitative feedback from parents through Telegram after the program had ended. And finally, we will compare our interventions results with the past research which could be found in the previous journal articles. Now, I will pass the time back to Lian.
Thank you, Charlotte. The proposed positive psychology intervention is assumed to show its effectiveness towards reducing parental stress, but there are some limitations that are found in the proposed intervention. Some of the limitations for the intervention proposed is that due to the QR code for the Google form being placed around the Autism Center, some parents may not take initiative to participate in the intervention, and there might be a risk where the advertisement will be neglected by parents. In this case, it is suggested that in the future, not only a collaboration of the Autism Center is needed, but also the doctors and nurses who are on duty in the center, as this will increase the participation rate for the intervention. The second limitation is that the participants are only limited to parents in one autism center. The result obtained cannot be used as a generalization towards the majority population. For the future research, it is suggested to implement the intervention in more centers to increase the categories of sample population. Lastly, the third limitation is that the proposed intervention requires the use of internet to access the proposed intervention. Parents with low socioeconomic status that do not own any smartphone and technology will be excluded, thus making our positive psychology intervention focus more on families who are well off. It is suggested that in the future research, the intervention can take place in both on-site and off-site. On-site can be provided for participants who do not have internet access to participate in the intervention. The following slides are the reference used in the presentation. With this, we shall end our presentation. Thank you.